I'm a compulsive networker, I'm a compulsive promoter, and I've been at this for like 11 years. And my greatest joy is connecting people together and being connected with people. My whole life is about people, my whole business is about people. And tonight what I'd like to talk to you about specifically is about connections with people that are authentic. And when I mention that word, authentic, what comes to mind for you?
Real.
Real?
Something no one else has. Maybe like something like, yeah.
Something that nobody else has?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
Well, like, that's not
Authentic?
originality.
Original, okay.
No hidden agenda. You're just the way you are.
No hidden agenda, just the way you are.
It's pure.
Pure?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the words. I'm asking a lot of people about this, what it means for them. And these are the words I'm hearing, like honesty, integrity, real, unique, and nothing to hide, no agenda or anything. So tonight, let me ask you this question to start. Have you ever thought that you understood how something was, only to have a life event occur that taught you that you really didn't understand it at all? The first time,
Didn't take you long.
Do we have to answer that now?
the first time it happened for me in my life was in my 20s, after I'd had a car accident, a very serious car accident. And look, I knew about cars. I knew cars were big and heavy. I'd actually seen car accidents on the side of the roads when I'd been driving by. I even knew that cars could get like smashed up because I saw tow trucks. I knew that sometimes people got hurt because I saw ambulances there, fire trucks, and police. But it wasn't until I ended up in a car accident where I was seriously hurt that I fully understood the extent of what being in a car and smashing into something else could do to a person's life. And more recently, this lesson came to me about a year ago when I became involved in a very difficult situation. The situation arose because over the course of several months, I had sold out little by little on some of the values that were really important to me. And I had also invalidated my feelings repetitively during this time. And what ended up happening to me in the end was I found myself alone and in isolation. And there had been several small incidences that had occurred in my life through this. This is happening just over a year ago. Had happened over the course of the 3 months leading up to just a year ago. And those incidents had rattled me. And I was walking on eggshells. And in that very unstable state of mind, there was a single event that happened that actually traumatized me. And if you have ever been traumatized in your life, you know what it feels like to go into survival mode. I was very confused. I was totally distressed. And I had a very difficult time making everyday decisions. I had symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. I was easily triggered by things that normally wouldn't faze me. And I had Stockholm syndrome. 1 year ago, just over 1 year ago, I was nothing short of a mess. And then there were a couple of miracles that happened in my life. There were 3 people that came in my life and intervened. And they got me out of the situation, and they started loving me. And it was through their grace and mercy that I started on the road to health. Now it's really interesting for me to find myself in this situation because the nature of the work that I do is I get to work with a lot of great people. #1 book authors, coaches, consultants, famous people, celebrities, successful hockey players. And yet I still found myself in this situation even though I thought I understood the power of association and how important it was to have great people in my life. And the lesson really came home to me as I started healing my life because I was really fighting for my life. And so what I did was I turned to and I found the best people I possibly could to come up alongside me. And it took me a long time to actually get out of the situation and heal my life. It took me many months actually to get out of the fog. I needed to understand what happened, how I had gotten there, and what I needed to do to make sure it never happened again. And this is probably the single most important lesson that I've learned that I want to share with you and as many people as I possibly can. My road to health and restoring my health, and by the way, experts have told me that my recovery through all of this, based on what happened to me, was very short. It came because of the people I put in my life. And I want to talk to you about the characteristics of those people tonight so that you can identify them. When you see them, you can gravitate toward them and get them into your life. I want to talk about our own beingness, who we need to be able to have those relationships in our life. And I also want to tell you that now that I've healed and I've got myself back on track, like I'm back being strong and powerful like I was before, and now I find myself more loving and compassionate, more empathetic to other people and what they're going through. What I find now is that I figure if I can do that with one of the most difficult situations I've ever faced in my life, restored my health, got my life back, what would happen if I took this principle of just putting great people in my life in an area that works really reasonably well, like my business? And that's what I'm working on right now. You know, the power of association is documented by a lot of scientists and other people. Business expert Jim Rohn said we become like the 5 closest people in our life. And Dr. Amen, if you're familiar with him, he's one of the world's leading experts on our brain. He says that who I actually associate with will change my brain. He's done tens of thousands of scans to prove this. And then there's leadership guru John Maxwell, who says the success of any given leader will depend on who they associate with. So there's no mistaking that the power of association is with us. And don't hear that it's enough for you to just hang out with great people. There's also this development of ourselves. And so let me get to that. These are the qualities of the people that I'm looking to have around in my inner circle these days. Number one is they are in healthy communities. They are in authentic communities already. There are no lone wolves. If they're out there, if somebody's out there by themselves and they are not in some type of community, then they are not going to make a great resource for me as I'm developing my authentic community. The people that I'm looking for are wise. They know things that I don't know. And likewise, I look for people who don't know what I know and I share with them in my community. These people are honest. They tell me things I don't like to hear and stretch me into being more of who I could be. They see my strengths and they encourage me to go into them. And at the same time, they see my weaknesses and they'll challenge me on them and they'll stretch me to overcome those and become more of who I'm meant to be. And at the same time, they are filled with grace. When they tell me anything, there is no condemnation. They love me and I know I am loved. And they support me and they're saying it because they want me to be all that I can be. And one of the most important characteristics of these people, I think, is they are contributing on the planet. It's not just about them. It's not just about their spouse. It's not just about their kids. It's not just about their life. It's about the world, and they look out there and they see something that isn't right. They see maybe injustice. They experience something that breaks their heart, and they step into it, and they say, I'm going to do something about this. These people contribute to the betterment of this planet. And finally, the other requirement of the people that come into my inner circle is they must be aligned with God. If they are not aligned with something spiritually bigger than themselves, they will have a huge ego, or they will have ego problems. There's something about the spiritual dynamic that goes on that humbles us and brings us grounded into who we really are, a sense of who we are. So that is a list of the qualities I'm looking for in the people that come into my inner circle, around me in my business. And the reason I want to be around people like that is because I want to be like that. Those are the qualities I want to be. And I learned through that traumatic experience, if I want to get healthy, then all I have to do is hang out with healthy people. If I want to be a better leader, all I have to do is hang out with leaders. if I want more compassion, if I want to expand my compassion, then all I have to do is hang out with compassionate people.